Yeah, both players banned Shaman, obviously, which makes a lot of sense. It seems to be the common denominator of a lot of people's ban strategies. Just ban Shaman and keep going. RDU's playing Druid, Warlock, and Rogue, whereas Naiman is playing Druid, Warrior, and Hunter in this series. First game is going to be the Druid Mirror, as you can see. And we saw a Jungle Moonkin on the side of Naiman, which means I think he's playing the Curator version that you alluded to earlier.
Yeah, that's actually the one Show made. It's got Moonkin, Savage, Combatant. What else does it have? Yeah, just Curator, right? That's the only different cards. But we'll see. It might not be that one. Might be his own version.
Yeah, it isn't a huge difference in the way the deck is built, but it also adds to the consistency of getting Malagos, right? When you can fetch it with Curator, especially in the mirror match, where sometimes you need to close out the game and it comes down to not finding Nourish. Curator is effectively another Nourish in that deck, or an alternative way to Nourish.
Oh yeah, but there's also actually another Druid with just Moonkin anyways, and that one doesn't have Curator. I think that's just... I'm not sure if it has an... Oh no, it might have a Druid of the Claw, if I remember correctly.
RDU with the really awkward plays.
I know, like Living Roots turn 1. I mean turn 2. Sorry. Yeah, it's like neither one has the Wild Growth and also the Mire Keeper. I mean, the Living Roots does help the Malagas, and Innervate helps just get more stuff later.
Yeah, I think it also just lets you get the flexibility you get out of it from just playing Swipe with Wrath, for instance, at the right time, or getting like a spell damage source alongside it. The Moonkin turn is usually very, very good when you can get it with Innervate early enough, say turn 6, and you get a Jungle Moonkin Swipe. In this case, the odds of it being there by turn 6 are fairly slim. But it's one of those cases where you can take your opponent by surprise, I think in this deck list more so than others, just because of the Moonkin's 2 spell damage.
Yeah, it's pretty much just going to be hero powering back and forth until we get some... We're able to get some decent minions out. So possibly a coin into a Azure Drake next turn for RDU.
Yeah, looks pretty strong.
Innervate into Emperor Thorson?
Yeah, it feels really solid to me. I mean, I can't see why not. You do reduce the cost of Malagos. Nourish becomes 4 mana. Wrath becomes 1, which is one of the most flexible removal spells with Fandral to use later on. Very powerful.
Yeah, innervating the Emperor Thorson is always so sweet. Well, there's a Mire Keeper, but RDU has to deal with this Emperor Thorson right now. He can't even just ramp.
Yeah, I think you have to commit the Feral Rage, although here's the deal. Feral Rage is more flexible, it's also less mana than Swipe. So the big question is, do you ever think you'll need to swipe a board that is wide? Say, go for an Azure Drake swipe a little bit later down the line, or a Malagos with a crazy reduction in costs and then swipe? Or do you think the swipe here is just better because it uses up the mana more efficiently? I think it's a pretty tough call either way.
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, I feel like you might need the swipe later on, like in case there's just a couple of minions on the board.
Yeah, so the spell damage from the Azure Drake or Malagos play is just too valuable. I wonder if RDU knows Naiman's running the Jungle Moonkin version, because that might also make swipe more appealing, more appealing than Feral Rage to keep in your hand.
Oh, this is kind of tricky, because he could Nourish and then even draw with his Wrath, or just play the Azure Drake.
I think it's time for just keeping up the pressure, because RDU had to fell Rage and face tank the Emperor, which means the odds of him having something like a Wrath pretty slim, so you know that's not there. And this 4/4 might actually live, unless Living Roots comes out, and if it does, then you're pretty happy about it. Lots of little nuances to the way this has happened so far. So there's a lot of plays you can make. RDU could just mirror this Drake, or just get his own Emperor and force the opponent to have a swipe. That looks like he's gonna force some sort of removal from Naiman.
Yeah, getting the Emperor Thorson down is always good. Now he could choose to nourish first, and then.
I mean, yeah, you have cheap spells. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Huge advantage when you pull off this mid-game cheap nourish. It's crazy card advantage, and also tempo, because usually the spells the Druid uses will translate into some kind of board advantage that the other Druid can't deal with very often. I mean, when you use up your spells from behind, for instance, you know, when you're just trying to scramble back onto the board, it's a different story. But you already got a Drake that you're just protecting. It's a lot more powerful when you're removing stuff, because then the opponent still has to kill your Drake, and you've got them pinned.
I like that. He squeezed the draw in and then finished it off with the Living Roots there.
How much do we value the double innervate play off of Malagos? Pretty highly, it seems. I could have seen an innervate hero power play here. Just keep the Drake at max health so Living Roots and Wrath don't deal with it ever. Swipe's gonna come out. Okay. Yeah, good thing he didn't try to protect that Drake, because it was gonna go down anyway.
Harrison's kind of just like a dead card again in this matchup.
It is a dead card, but at the same time, it is another thing that the enemy Druid has to answer and use his removal spells on, which he so desperately needs to keep with Malagos. I guess if it gets caught in the crossfire of something like a swipe, then it's really mediocre, but otherwise it's still a substantial threat. 5/4 is nothing to scoff at.
Ham Skillet, thanks so much for the $5. Thanks for hosting a great play for a good cause. Hi Patra. And Necro with $5 also. Thanks so much, guys.
We've got Lower Brother with $5 as well as Matley with the $1. That's it, that's the spirit. The amount doesn't matter. Just help out. Matley says, you know what, you guys want $1, here's my $1. And for that we thank you. Did you notice this absolutely skill demanding 33% on the Giant?
Sorry, what was that?
He killed a Giant with Ragnaros. Very good.
Oh,
Tempo back in the game. He has card disadvantage. The game looked pretty dire for RDU, but he actually got a kill on the Giant with the Ragnaros, which was less likely than killing, say, the Drake or hit the face. So, very good outcome
Drake
for him.
from the mulch.
If Harrison is not a dead card, then Volcanic Drake isn't either. That's the reasoning we're gonna go with here. I mean, I can't see a world in which Volcanic Drake does too much, but it is another threat.
Yeah, you could drop it down when it's really cheap.
Do you ever just play Giant?
Yeah. He's actually RDU's actually thinking about mulching the Drake, and then playing the Giant. He could also just draw with the Azure Drake.
Drawing with the Drake seems a lot more stable than mulching a Drake. I don't know, mulching a Drake seems a bit desperate. Oh, he's playing the cycle version of Malagos.
Right.
Okay, there we go. It's funny that he has so few cards, all things considered. But he's gonna be able to cycle the Wild Growth next turn, get himself 2 card draws on top, and then even mulch if he wants to. But he's gonna choose to mulch his opponent right now. Okay. I don't know if RDU wanted to do this, or if he thought it was gonna put his opponent at 10 cards. Seems like a desperation play.
Oh, Naiman has Yogg.
Yeah, a few people have brought it to the event. It's not completely dead. It is a lot less played than before, but still sees play occasionally.
Were you wanting it to die, or were you one of those people who wanted it to live?
No, I don't want Yogg to exist in competitive play, but I mean, it's beside the point. Most people have cut it out of their decks, right? So it's sort of died off in that way. Maybe it hasn't died off completely, but its general usage has reduced so much that the card, when you see it, at least now, is a little bit more enjoyable than when it's just an auto-include in every single Druid list. Now, both players are going to start being wary of there being a Malagos in the opponent's hand, and the damage that could come with it. And just like this, we're going to see here the Gaddison Auctioneer cycling 3 cards. One from the Wild Growth, and the excess mana will get another draw. Double Innervate.
Wow.
Gives him at least the potential to play double Arcane Giant this turn, undoubtedly. Now it's a matter of figuring out what else is drawn.
Wait, he's got 3 Innervates? Or is that... Oh no, it's just... It was 2. Yeah, the double Arcane Giants is gonna be nuts. I mean...
Wow, there's a Fandral Idol play. He can go Fandral into Idol and get himself an extra card draw, possibly even the Moonfire being used up just to reduce the cost of Giants. Or who knows, maybe he just draws another Innervate on the back of the Idol, who knows. So many things could happen here. We don't see the choices, but he snap picks something, which we don't see yet. What is that? It's shining.
I know, the card's kind of bugged, but it's...
Naturalize! Oh, he gets to mill his opponent to 1 card and destroy the Harrison Jones play double giant on an empty board. Naiman, your move. What do you do?
Oh, this is the Curator one that Naiman's playing. Let's see what... Oh, the swipe.
That's devastating. He had the Innervate with Malagos. If that swipe had been in his hand, he could have gone Malagos, Innervate, swipe, and cleaned up the entire place.
Yeah, that's true. He had the Moonfires too.
Wow. He would have been one-off lethal, but... That was a devastating mill. I don't know if RDU knows how much that swipe mattered.
I think he's innovating the Yogg here. Yeah.
Let's do it.
I mean, this is the best board you can get against your Yogg.
Let's see if RDU has reason to get a little angry at the existence of the card this time around.
Rubbing his chin over there.
Mulch comes out of that, kills Yogg. Hey!
Oh my gosh.
That's the second Yogg we saw most of this entire event. It happened yesterday.
Oh no. Oh, no.
Justice shall be given. Yesterday, the odds are on through Deathwing, but it doesn't quite work as much. It's an all-in card, yes, but the degree of usability of it when you've got a full hand or a playable hand is just null. Whereas Yogg-Saron can be played when you have a full hand, and unless Astral Communion hits, you may just be okay.
And Naiman with his Hunter, isn't he known for his Hunter decks before?
Naiman, not so much. I mean, I've seen him play Freeze Mage primarily. I know that Naiman's deck is probably the Camel Hoarder. I don't know if he's going as far as in the Zoth, but I anticipate that he does. The idea here is that he's targeting Control Warrior with the Camel, like Desert Camel deck. The Camel does not bring out any 1-drops against Druid, doesn't bring them out against Warrior, and usually in the mirror match, you'll bulk hit the 1-drop, but you'll be a 2-4 ahead on board. So it's really not the most crippling thing. Now, losing a high main here, or the Ragnaros, is the decision he's gonna have to make. Pretty early tracking usually leads to these situations.
Yeah, this is kind of tough. I mean, well, he has a Savannah high main.
What do you think is better, double high main or Ragnaros?
I mean, you get to play the other high main on turn 7, but he chose the Camel. Which is like, not what I'd expect actually. But maybe he's got some sort of plan with the Camel. I mean, we know that Druids don't have 1 mana minion, so maybe he's just trying to grow a board really fast.
Yeah, because there wasn't Wild Growth into, say, Swipe, There's no risk of anything blowing up. And now we see two 2/4s for 3 mana, a 4/8 for 3 mana for Naiman here. Very big tempo swing, and now RDU is going to be a little bit behind for the next few turns. If Naiman keeps piling on pressure this way, not only is he, like, that's the power of the camel, really, and that's what I like about the card is, yes, you get power on the board, but you also thin your deck of bad cards, right? You remove the stuff you never want to be top decking in the mid or late game. And that's pretty meaningful, so... Huh. Well played.
Red DX, thank you so much for the $10. All of you guys are showing some support here and there. Thank you so much. It's all stacking up.
Well, Naiman just piles on more pressure. The swipe setup by RDU is a good one because not only that, so what I like about the setup for swipe is that it also leaves a minion low enough on health that you can probably finish off with 1 or 2 more spells during the game. And if an animal companion is following this camel, that can be the target of your swipe. And if it's a huffer, then you can also finish it off with your hero power on the following turn. So the swipe setup there for RDU was really beautiful. Well done. I don't know what he's gonna do this turn, as the pressure seems to be going up and up. Ah, there's room for Ragnaros next turn. Maybe that's what we'll see.
Yeah, you could like innervate it out.
Might be a giant or Ragnaros. I don't know. I'm a bigger fan of the Rag play.
So we're gonna see the other camel. Does he have any more 1-drops? Probably the
There's,
bat,
I think,
right? Yeah.
1 copy of Fiery Bat. Assuming he's playing the 1 Fiery Bat double injured Faldir, that would be it.
Yeah, cause now Rag doesn't seem too good here. I mean, you're still gonna play it as RDU, but it's just a bigger board now.
And now I think Naiman just wants to go wide. You play high main, you start pushing phase damage. If the opponent's Ragnaros stays alive, it shouldn't matter as you're pushing a lot more damage than he is. So RDU here is going to need some miracle or another to get out of this mess. I don't even think there's a card in this deck that really helps here. Innervate Swipe could reduce the amount of stuff on the board a little bit, but not by a meaningful amount. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is actually pretty good. But that's the only thing he can clear as of now. Okay. And that's gonna be it for Naiman. He's gonna take that win.
Yeah, not too surprised with the start that he had and RDU not finding any ramp. The camel was just too much. Like a 4/8 getting this early in the board without Wild Growth being there on RDU's side was just a crippling thing. Despite the swipe setup.
I mean, it could do okay because I mean, the camel has a pretty good body, 2/4, and then the injured Cavalier has an okay body also.
RDU has a really good hand right now. We're looking at Flame Imp with the Imp Gang boss and Machidar's Imp. All the imps are really resilient in general. The Flame Imp tends to be the first to die, but there needs to be a Fiery Bat or an injured Faldir for that to happen on turn 1. So if Naiman chooses to keep this hand because it's curving, he's gonna struggle against Flame Imps, and he knows it. That's the card you're happy to find. Flame Imp is no longer a problem. Not in the immediate sense, at least.
I think you just play Malthazar's Imp.
Yep. Stagger the release of the 1-drops. I think if there had been no play from Naiman, we would have seen Flame Imp coin Malthazar's Imp.
What a top deck. Quick shot. Saves his minion from dying.
And RDU not too phased by that, I imagine. The Imp Gang boss as a follow-up. Naiman, if he doesn't have Deadly Shot, is unlikely to be able to deal with this efficiently at all. And that means the value is going to start piling up for RDU, depending on what gets found out here. Is there a Houndmaster in Naiman's deck? We haven't seen it yet, and if he does find one, then the Kindly Grandmother is a little bit better.
Yeah, we haven't seen one yet. That Imp Gang boss is gonna be a bit annoying though for Naiman.
Alright, so we have the onslaught of one-drops. There's a good chance that RDU picks up just a really solid defensive Argus here. I wouldn't mind playing the Flame Imp in this spot, because the Kindly Grandmother is unlikely to be a good challenge to it. And if Houndmaster is played alongside the Kindly Grandmother to buff it to a 3-3, then the Flame Imp challenges that as well. So you might try to play the value game when you're 2-2 and you're 1-1s, but the Flame Imp will contest at least the Houndmaster. So I really like the Flame Imp play here by RDU over the Argent Squire. Chris Chev donated $5 at the cost. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We're $24 away from the 4K mark. We're getting pretty close. We're getting pretty close.
So he played the Argus here, and then, or he could suicide his peddler into the 3-2, and then just Argus.
I don't mind popping the wolf now. You're just getting extra imps. So the way you play this is you pop the wolf with the flame imp, and then you use the 2-2 to kill the 3-2, and then you start killing. You kill one of the minions that comes out with the DM gang boss, then you taunt both of them up. That's like a way you could do it.
That's the best way.
I don't know if it's the best, because there are a lot of ways you could play the turnout. And some of them lead to you having a bigger board with more stuff on it, but you go very wide. Say if you go Argent Squire with Dire Wolf and Abusive, they need to have Unleash, lest you just punish them.
Yeah, so
you don't have to play the Argus. Oh, there we go. He goes for it. In the end, it decides that this is the least vulnerable to Houndmaster and Unleash the Hound's plays.
Yeah, it's the most annoying.
It is.
How can you get through that? You need like a bow.
Specifically, yeah. There aren't that many cards that will deal with this. I mean, if Quick Shot happened on a Imp Gang boss Imp, yeah, I mean, that's a plus. And now you do need to find the Unleash. Still, you know, Stranglethorn Tiger doesn't feel good either. Nothing feels good right now. RDU looks like he's on his way to push a lot of damage.
He doesn't have anything to discard those. Okay, now he does. He's got the Doom Guard.
That has got to be the best timing. I mean, maybe a 1 card off, because there's a chance the top deck is going to be a card that RDU wants to keep, but otherwise, Abusive on 6 to start the sequence, and then play Doom Guard as a, you know, just a 5-mana play right afterwards, discarding 3/3s that come on the board right away. Naiman with only a warrior left in the back of this. That is a power play for RDU. And by the way, you may not be aware, but Naiman is playing Pirate Warrior. So it is an aggro deck. And everybody knows that Voidwalker is enough to make Pirate Warrior just crumble. You know, Argus is a crippling card for them to handle. They just can't afford trading, so they have to push, but 1 Argus wins the game.
I'm looking forward to that match. We got some more donations, actually. We have Munta Al-Kabani giving the charity $5. Thank you so much. And Always DM me with $10. Are we close to the mark yet?
$9 away from the 4,000 mark. I'm gonna go 1,000 at a time here, even 500, just because I think the 5K, even though it could be reached by the end of the day, is not the goal I want to set for myself. I am more than happy with what we've got so far. We're at the point now where we're actually beating a lot of the previous charity events that we've done. King Win for Charity has not always raised that much, so that's a really cool event.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool,
then. Yeah, I'm just super happy we've got such a high amount of donation. Like, we have a lot of donors and a lot of donations. The amount is also substantial for each one of them, so just super cool event overall for charity.
Watch it, watch it, watch it. The RDU disgusting turn is about to happen.
Does he discard the right minions, though? That's the question, right? Because he doesn't have enough room for both.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Alright, that's fine.
Right? Oh, you got one.
At least you didn't lose the other. Unleash the Hounds. How bad would that be?
I mean, is there... Oh yeah, he could get tracking for an unleash, but...
Doesn't look like he's got it.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't even run it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that type of deck could find... Like, when you play Camel, you may not feel like you need to run the unleash.
Right.
Because it can act as a board filler in a way.
Yeah, because this is not the kind of hunter deck that's for aggro. It's for like the more control-y ones. The more control-y opponents.
Yeah. Usually you end up running like a single deadly shot, double camel, double companion. You don't even have room for... Like some decks don't even run 2 bows. Some of them run 1 copy of the bow, 1 Houndmaster, and no kill commands, as there's definitely no room for that. And deadly shot, not hitting.
So RDU is actually 1 damage away from lethal. Never mind. He got the the Direwolf Alpha, and he's gonna... You know, he's gonna win this.
The same reason that pushed Warrior out of the game when Sludge Belcher came out is still true for Zoo, because they still keep Defenders of Argus, they still have Voidwalkers, and those just roadblock you. Your weapons can't connect.
And they can put like more minions than the Pirate Warrior can.
Yeah, it's gotta be something like a 70-30 in favor of Zoo. It's absurdly favored, but this opener for Naiman... Wow.
Yeah, it seems like a really good start for Naiman. He's got the weapon, he's got the taunt. That could help a lot.
RDU's got minions that, cards that discard one another. Not exactly the best way to open up a game, and there's a lot of tempo from Naiman, weirdly enough. He gets a 5-3 right away, has the Dread Corsair to follow it up with, and Korkron on 4 can start piling up the damage.
He's gonna have to Soulfire this down.
Since Naiman is never trading, you can't expect the Peddler to ever tank a hit. Juggler going away. And Naiman's doing an oddly good job of staying ahead on board in this matchup, thanks to the War Axe.
Yeah, that trade is fine.
Juggler leaving was really painful.
I mean, we know that the Zoo doesn't run Mortal Coils or anything like that. But, unless they get it from Peddler.
Yeah, RDU here can play 4 1-drops, or he can choose to play 2 1-drops as well as the Darkshire Librarian, cycle the card. I think I like that play a lot, because you almost don't want to flame it yourself. Less so, but when there's a 2-1 on the board as well as a War Axe. But losing the Abusive would have probably been better. Hey, you can play Korkron for full clears and keep a 4-2 on the board against Zoo.
Yeah, I think the Korkron's probably the only play here. Yeah, like I said earlier, RDU could build his board faster than Naiman can. I mean, the Zoo has about like 8 to 9 1-drops in the deck at least. Plus those taunts, like you said earlier. It's gonna get hard for Naiman to hit the face. It's like, normally you want your Korkron to just hit the face directly, but here we're probably gonna see Korkron trading into the Voidwalker or the Malkazar's Imp.
Yeah, whichever one he chooses. I think playing the board game, even though that's not what Aggro Warrior usually wants to do, this is one of the rare opportunities he's gonna get to do so. And he's gonna seize it. Now, RDU will get 2 draws from this outcome. Argus, not the most exciting one, but hell, you could go for the Abusive Argus just to get a 2-2 on the board. I just feel like it's too weak to weapons. He ends up losing what probably was his best.
Abusive. I'm sorry, he ends up losing to
Defenders.
was it? Defenders, sorry.
Well, it's probably were the best cards in his hand.
Yeah.
For this matchup at the very least. He's got the Rogue after this, and the Rogue is atrocious against Aggro Warrior. Aggro Warrior just rolls all over it with no care. Aggro Warrior will just eat up that poor rogue alive, unfortunately. So if this Zoo matchup is not won by RDU, it's not lost yet, but if it's not won, it's going to be really painful to climb back in with a rogue. Alright, the two best cards in his deck, I think, at this point, were just picked up.
Oh wow, that's a pretty good pickup.
Does he ever go for the board control? I think he's committed to that line of play.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while though, because the Warlock can just keep tapping away if he's not gonna go for his face.
Yeah, if there's no pressure coming in, then RDU has a lot of time. More so than I initially anticipated. I feel like he's been pretty healthy given the deck that Naiman's playing. I mean, he did get board control, but that's the cost that Naiman pays for this is, well, if I have board control, I'm kind of like, you know, Tempo Mage, in which if I use my weapons to kill your stuff, then I can no longer burn your face, and then I just fizzle out because I lack the damage output. Well, Corcoran Elite, another welcome sight, but
yeah, that's
how good is it really?
I think he has to start ignoring this Imp Gang right now. There's nothing that could the Imp Gang is going to trade into the Corcoran anyways, right? And we know we've seen the
Defenders.
The Defender Varkuses were discarded.
Right. So that means that he can't buff the Imp Gang boss's health to 5 and then get a better taunt line against the Corcoran. And we've seen 2 Voidwalkers, 2 Defenders, so that means RDU has no more taunts. At this point, Naiman can effectively just assume that every weapon he has can connect with face. And it's just a matter of pacing the damage output so it eventually finishes off his opponent.
Yeah, and notice he doesn't upgrade his weapon because he wants to save the upgrade for a better weapon.
Yeah, Arcanite Reaper exists in this deck twice. But with 2 copies of Arcanite Reaper, it's really wise to keep the upgrade for that. And I mean, Leroy can finish for 6, so really he just needs Arcanite Reaper off the top would come pretty close to just finishing the game off. RDU conserving his board. Moral Strike, another source of damage. That is getting awfully close to the kill if Naiman just starts pushing. He might... Does he ever upgrade to kill the Juggler? I don't think so. I think the time has come to just push the damage.
Oh, it's so tough. It's so tough.
I mean, Leroy is just... I think he wants to upgrade, kill the Juggler, and then Leroy face for 10, and hope that he finds Reaper Moral Strike for the kill, because he can't life tap at that point.
Yeah, there's no way he could kill like all of these minions on the board right now, but the Juggler
needs to die before Leroy.
Yeah.
I think that's actually not too bad play.
That's true. Because the Juggler could actually kill Leroy if he doesn't kill it.
I mean, if you go face with Corcoran, you could... Like, the odds of it killing Leroy are really slim. There's your face, there's Corcoran, and there's Leroy as a target. So technically, you could still keep the upgrade. The thing is, you don't need it. Because once you've killed this Juggler, you're pretty much... Oh, that's it. He's just gonna shove. He's calculating. I've got 12 damage right here between my weapon and my Corcoran. And then Leroy comes in for the final, hopefully final 6. No more taunts in RDU's deck, so the game is going to have to be ended super quickly, which I don't think is likely. It's going to have to be a very fast finish. Now, RDU, if he taps, knows he's dead to Leroy. Or second Moral Strike, and now he's trying to figure out if it's even worth it.
That's nuts. He's not, and knowing RDU, he's not going to tap, because he knows. So, this is super crazy.
Yeah, I think he'll only life tap if he needs, like, he thinks he's dead next turn guaranteed, say an Arcanite Reaper comes out. Naiman is missing exactly 2 damage to close the game, but Leroy could still die to the Juggler. There is still that faint chance. And that means that if Naiman wants to prevent that, he would have to kill the Juggler first, preventing himself from using a weapon. So, Mortal Strike would be a guaranteed lethal. But until then, we're close enough. Alright guys, we just passed the 4,000 mark. We got a donation from Nirtor Raka, as well as Please My OCD. That is That is
That's
potentially a Leroy dead. Leroy died! No, he didn't die.
Oh my god,
This
you
would have been
scared
so
me.
devastating.
That
It was
be
pretty
great.
close.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, alright. RDU is gonna be getting on for the most uphill battle of his life. And you know what? If the Doom Guard had I think we got some new ones. We got one from NetDeck and Chill, and Jamie G2 says RDU for the win, as well as Patra saying hi. Well, I guess somebody Patra says hi people. I love Hearthstone, and everyone who donates. Was that you or was that another Patra?
That's not me. Someone used my name and donated $10. Hi people, I love Hearthstone and
You
everyone
should have
who
taken the
donated.
credit for it, right? You could have taken the credit. Be like, yeah, I totally
You'll-
donated $10 of my hard-earned money.
You'll never know.
So RDU here decided to throw back the Leroy. The questing adventure is something that the warriors simply can't handle. So if you can pump it to become big enough, then you can often just win on the back of it. And he's got the coin, so if anything, this is a hand that RDU can win with. I think it's gonna come down to whether he finds a conceal. Maybe to go questing, coin, conceal. That would have been an absolutely insane opener. And then you pump the questing for the rest of the game. SI7 agent would be great as well. Now that's a hand that could also finish the game
Wow.
off.
It's a lot of damage in Naiman's hand.
So
When you said
questing, wow, I can't even.
questing, prep, a bunch of stuff.
Questing,
there's even
prep, Shadow Strike,
backstab.
phase, backstab the 3-2. Then you can prep the Eviscerate to kill the 2-1 if you really want to prevent any nightmare from occurring. And this is just absolutely bonkers. Yeah, he does go ahead and kill everything on the board. Knows that if his questing is not contested, this is it. Now, is there anything that could kill this? Yeah, Mortal Strike could. Mortal Strike could have killed the questing. Yikes, RDU. Taking some risks. Braver man than I am. But it was a worthwhile risk to take, because you do keep Tomb Pillager, you do keep your coin.
This is actually kind of scary. Like, that questing adventure.
Yeah, it's never gonna get killed. That's how
growing and
RDU
growing.
wins. This is how RDU won the game. Questing Adventurer with the backstab, letting clean up the first ooze. And now Naiman's game plan devolves to I put up the Reaper, I go face. I top deck upgrade, I go face. I Leroy, I heroic strike, and I win.
Oh
I don't
my
think he's
god,
gonna get
wait.
enough time for that. There's no way that can happen, right?
It's just... it's so close, like, I don't even know. If
I think you just go coin, get it, send, backstab your own Tomb Pillager, and go face again. You want to get all the damage on this board as fast as you can. I think you just play everything. Don't hold on the Gadded Sand. This 8-8 needs to hit right now for as much as it can.
Yeah, I feel like he has to coin Auctioneer and then backstab his own questing. Or, or his
the Tomb Pillager.
Tomb Pillager. Either way.
We got another donation by Mindark. Thank you. We're at 4,050. So, unfortunately for Naiman, he's not going to get the time that he needed. He would have needed one extra turn. If this draw is Heroic Strike, it's going to be a heartbreaking loss. Because he was one turn away from the win. And it was not.
Wow.
RDU wins the uphill battle matchup against
Wow.
Naiman.